We have anyone that has requested language interpretation services?
No, we do not.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. You are tuning into the remote public comment hearing for the Avenir project's draft environmental impact statement. Thank you for joining. Today's date is August 25th, 2025, and the time is now approximately 5 p.m. Please note that this session is being recorded. For those of you who have logged into Zoom and require language access services, please click the interpretation button on the bottom of your Zoom screen and select the applicable language. For those of you on a mobile device, tap the three dots in the lower right, select interpretation, and select the applicable language. Interpretation is only available through computer audio or voice over internet protocol and not through dial-in or telephone audio. No one has asked for language interpretation services for tonight's session. If any comment on the draft environmental impact statement is received tonight in languages other than English, we will have it translated and it will be considered. Additionally, I want to recognize that American Sign Language interpretation will be continuous with the main Zoom window. Do we have that up?
Coming up right now.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here. There we go.
Okay, we're all set. Yep.
Outstanding. Thank you. Just to reiterate that, I want to recognize that American Sign Language interpretation will be continuous through the main Zoom window. If you are watching this video conference and are experiencing audio issues, please access the audio by dialing 877-853-5247. Use meeting identification 856-4909-3203 and enter passcode 1. Good evening. I'm Robert Williams, and I'm the Executive Director of the New York State Gaming Commission, and I'll be presiding over tonight's public hearing in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which is commonly referenced as SEQR. The Commission is the lead agency for the Avenir's environmental review. As lead agency, the Commission has been overseeing the preparation and completion of an environmental impact statement for the project. For historical context, on April 18th, 2025, the Commission assumed designation as the SEQR lead agency for the draft environmental impact statement's project application to construct a commercial casino and associated development on a 2-acre vacant parcel of land comprised of lots 1 and 30 of Manhattan Block 1069. The block is bounded by the West 40th Street, West 41st Street, Galvin Avenue, which is the Lincoln Tunnel approach, and 11th Avenue. The project is, of course, contingent on the issuance of a commercial casino gaming license by the New York State Gaming Commission. As the proposed action is discretionary, it is subject to environmental review under SEQR. The Commission determined the project to be a Type 1 action, and accordingly, the Avenir project applicant prepared Part 1 of the full environmental assessment form. After reviewing and analyzing the Part 1 form, the Commission prepared Parts 2 and 3, and on May 2nd, 2025, found the proposed action has the potential to result in one or more significant adverse environmental impacts in one or more environmental areas, and determined that a draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS, was required and must be prepared. As required by SEQR, the Avenir's environmental team, in consultation with the Commission, prepared a draft scope of work. The Commission circulated its positive declaration, a notice of SEQR scoping session, and draft scope of work to involved and interested agencies, and published the notices in the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation's Environmental Notice Bulletin on May 7th, 2025. The Commission then conducted an extended SEQR scoping session for this project in May to obtain public input on the scope of work. Ultimately, a scope of work was finalized and posted to the Commission's website. And on August 1st, 2025, the Commission determined the draft environmental impact statement was complete for the purposes of public review. The Commission published a notice of DEIS acceptance and public hearing in the August 6th, 2025 edition of the Environmental Notice Bulletin and in a newspaper of general circulation. To ensure the greatest participation, the Commission also sent letters to each entity that was included on our list of involved and interested agencies, sent emails to each elected official where the project is situated, and sent emails to every party that requested notification regarding this project. It is also my understanding that tonight's public hearing has been promoted in social media. As required by the draft environmental impact statement, as required by law, the draft environmental impact statement evaluates the potential significant adverse environmental impacts of the proposed Avenir project and addresses various measures to mitigate these impacts. The environmental issues addressed in the DEIS include land use, zoning, and public policy, socioeconomic conditions, community facilities and services, open space, shadows, historic and cultural resources, urban design and visual resources, hazardous materials, water and sewer infrastructure, energy, solid waste and sanitation services, transportation, air quality, greenhouse gas emissions and climate change, noise, public health, neighborhood character, construction, effects on disadvantaged communities, alternatives, mitigation, unavoidable significant adverse impacts, growth-inducing aspects of the project, irreversible and irretrievable commitment of resources, and cumulative impacts. We are here tonight to receive comments on the Avenir's draft environmental impact statement from elected officials, government agencies, community board chairs, and members of the public. The public comment period will remain open until September 5th, with written comments accepted until 5 p.m. on that date. Written comments may be submitted by electronic mail or by mail to the addresses that you see on the screen. Once the comment period ends, the Commission will review all comments and determine what changes or additions, if any, need to be made. The Commission will then issue a final environmental impact statement. Tonight's session is divided into 3 parts. During the first part, we will receive a brief overview of the Avenir project and a summary of how the applicant has proposed to mitigate potential significant adverse environmental impacts. During the second part, we will receive comments on the draft from elected officials, government agencies, and community board chairs. During the third and final part of the session, the Commission will receive comments from the public. Our hearing will end only when everyone who has signed up to provide testimony by 7 p.m. has had an opportunity to be heard. Tonight's hearing is not a question and answer session, but it's intended to provide an opportunity for interested groups, technical specialists, community representatives, and the public to provide input on the adequacy of the draft environmental impact statement, including, for example, substantive or significant environmental issues raised, measures to mitigate potential significant impacts, and alternatives. To that end, all speakers should start by identifying the specific environmental issue or issues they wish to address. On to a few logistics for tonight's public hearing. For those of you who have pre-registered an interest in providing public comment, we will call on you in the order registered. For those of you who have joined tonight without pre-registration, if on the telephone, you may dial *9 to indicate your desire to provide oral testimony. If on video, you may indicate your desire to provide oral testimony by using the raise hand indicator. Participants using the raised hand function or the *9 will be added to the end of the pre-registration speakers list in the order in which they raised their hand or pressed *9. The option to sign up to speak will end at 7 p.m. tonight. If you are reading prepared comments, it would be helpful if you email a copy of your comments to kristen.buckley@gaming.ny.gov. That's KRISTEN.BUCKLEY@gaming.ny.gov. When it is your turn to speak, your name will be called, or the last 4 digits of your phone number will be read. You will then be granted temporary speaking privileges by the session administrator, which will allow you to temporarily unmute your microphone. Please note that promoting speakers can take some time, so we would appreciate patience. Again, when your name has been called or your number has been read, unmute your microphone or telephone and start your remarks. To allow us to hear from everyone who wishes to speak, we ask that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes. You will note a 3-minute countdown clock will run on the screen. You will be advised when 10 seconds are remaining and when your time has expired. Lines will be muted for speakers who go past 3 minutes. If you join by telephone only, we will announce when 3 minutes have elapsed. For those participants utilizing interpretation services, 5 minutes of speaking time will be allotted. If you wish to only provide written testimony, you may submit them to the commission, again, at the mailing or email addresses shown on the screen. You have until 5 p.m. on September 5th, 2025, for those comments to be received. Joining us next is Dino Fusco, the Chief Operating Officer of Silverstein Properties. I'd like Mr. Fusco to begin the session by providing a short project presentation on behalf of the applicant, after which he or other staff members and co-presenters can discuss any mitigating elements of the draft environmental impact statement that he would like to highlight. Mr. Fusco?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Hello, everyone. My name's Dino Fusco. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Silverstein Properties. As you know, Silverstein Properties and our partners, Rush Street Gaming and Greenwood Gaming, have been working together on the Avenir project for over 3 years. Our project has evolved significantly over those 3 years as we've met with and collected feedback from so many members of the community, including local electeds, the community board, small business owners, and many, many, many of the residents of the community. Some of you may have seen previous versions of the Avenir project. So I want to take 5 minutes to summarize for you the key aspects of the final design of the Avenir and our casino application proposal. Here we go. As Mr. Williams said, the site is located on 11th Avenue between 40th and 41st Street, and it's on a site that we've owned and tried to develop for over a decade. The site is located directly across the street from Silver Towers and River Place, which is a 2,300 unit, 3-tower residential complex that Silverstein Properties developed over the past 25 years and still owns and manages today. We've explored trying to build residential units and life sciences lab space and other buildings on the proposed Avenir site, but those uses are not feasible due to the site's location and its immediate environs. The site is bordered on the north by a FedEx facility and a Con Edison substation, which you see here in this picture, and on the south by a soon-to-be-built Port Authority bus ramp and structure. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. And on the east side of the site, it's bounded by the entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel. If we are awarded a casino license, the Avenir will consist of the following. First, a large community art gallery space located on the ground floor along 11th Avenue, which is something that we added to the project because the community residents really wanted it. Next, the Avenir will include a 1,000-room Hyatt hotel with many meeting rooms and event spaces, as well as a rooftop pool with city views and wellness and spa facility. Many of the residents in the neighborhood have told us that they want a higher-end, full-service hotel in the community. And the Javits Center, which is located 1 block south of our site, would also significantly benefit from having a full-service hotel in the neighborhood. The Avenir would also have more than a dozen restaurants at various price points, including from New York City star restaurateurs Danny Meyer and Steven Starr, as well as a 700-seat food hall that will feature restaurants from local restaurateurs who will be able to expand their businesses by having a location within our property. Again, the food hall was added at the request of many residents, but also many local business owners. And many of the community missed the fact that the Gotham West Food Hall recently closed. So this would be a new addition to the neighborhood, which people really, really want. The casino portion of the Avenir would only represent approximately 12% of the entire complex. The Avenir would create 4,000 union construction jobs and 5,000 permanent union jobs with the property's hotel, restaurant, casinos, and business management office. We would partner with Union Square Hospitality Group's Hospitality Quotient team, which would regularly train all 5,000 employees from the Avenir's hotel, restaurants, casino, and management office to ensure their jobs become long-term careers with opportunities for increase in advanced mobility. The Avenir would also provide significant funding and support to many community organizations and causes that the neighborhood cares deeply about. And we provide a capital fund to be allocated to important neighborhood causes and initiatives at the community board's discretion. We would also provide space for a non-for-profit organization called Rethink Food, which is a company that will take all of the excess food from the Avenir's hotel and restaurants and package and distribute those meals to residents in the neighborhood who are food insecure. Importantly, we have very significantly increased the number of housing units that we would deliver if we were awarded a casino license. We're now committing to delivering 2,000 new residential units, including 500 of which will be permanently affordable units, with priority for those units to be located within the Community Board 4 and in Council Member Eric Botcher's districts or immediately adjacent thereto. The significant increase in housing was a direct result of the feedback we received from the local elected officials and members of the Community Board 4 who expressed the need for more housing. As you can see from this chart, we've already begun to canvass the district for opportunities to deliver new housing. And we've already begun working on several opportunities. Finally, we have received very strong feedback from residents in this neighborhood that they want a subway station built on 41st Street and 10th Avenue, which is a project that had been previously considered by the MTA for a cost of approximately $2 billion. This news article, if we could advance the next, there we go. This news article, which includes all of our elected officials, might remind many of you about that topic. As you know, the 7 train runs directly beneath this corner. So all that would need to be required is for the MTA to build a subway station entrance and a platform along the track that already exists at that corner so that the 7 train could stop at that location. Because the Avenir is projected to generate more than $3 billion in direct revenue for the MTA within the first 10 years, and an additional $4 billion of potentially bondable tax revenue for the city and the state over that same period. And because the Avenir would significantly increase subway ridership, therefore increasing MTA subway revenue dramatically, we believe that the best chance of getting the MTA to deliver a subway station on 41st and 10th is by building the Avenir. Before I hand over the microphone to our next speaker, I want you all to know that you can visit the Avenir Project Showroom, which is located at the base of Silver Towers, directly across the street from our site. That showroom is open and staffed 7 days a week so that you can learn more about the project and, again, ask us any questions or make any comments that you may have regarding this very important project. And with that, I'll turn it over to our project architect, Nancy Ruddy, to cover the first topic that you've asked to address today. Over to you, Nancy. Nancy, I think you're on mute.
So sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
We can.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, thank you, Dino, and it's a pleasure to see you all again. I'm Nancy Ruddy, co-founding partner of Cetra Ruddy Architecture. Like Silverstein Properties, we are a New York women-led family-owned business. For over 38 years, my partner John Cetra and I have been creating community, home, and a vibrant New York City through community collaboration and design excellence. At our first meeting, it was broader in nature. Today, you've asked us to discuss public access and site circulation. Our design is based on creating inspired architecture that's sculpted at grade to create a safe and secure environment for visitors and residents. Since we last met, we've been working with the city, the community, and working on comments you made to us to progress our design. Next slide, please. Our site is uniquely located at the crossroads of many neighborhoods that are currently not connected. The circles on this diagram indicate 5, 10, and 15-minute pedestrian walks from our site. The Avenir will connect and support important local West Side hubs, such as the Javits Center, the Theater District, Madison Square Garden, existing residential neighborhoods, Hudson Yards Park, and venues along the Hudson River. Next slide, please. New York is a walkable, pedestrian-oriented city where residents and visitors experience the magic of our city's streets. Our building, and particularly the ground floor plan, continue this pedestrian-centric concept. Our ground floor plan, located with location of access points and outdoor spaces, provide continuity with the city and activation at our site at all times of the day. The building occupies a full New York City block, as has been mentioned. To create safe and inviting outdoor opportunities, the building's organic form sets back from the property line, resulting in widened sidewalks and open spaces to allow for ease of pedestrian access, social gathering, and safe and secure circulation around the site. Based on our conversations with the CAC and the community, continuous pedestrian sidewalks are provided on all 4 sides of the building. Most of the sidewalks exceed well beyond the mandatory city requirement, with dimensions from 15 to 35 feet wide. Next slide, please. The primary hotel and casino entrances are on 41st Street and are accessed by a landscaped pedestrian plaza that measures 30 feet by 260 feet. And it provides a gracious entrance with adequate space for people entering the building while promoting visibility and indoor-outdoor connectivity. The building's facade pulls back to create a welcoming gesture and, very importantly, allows sunlight to illuminate our sidewalk. Since we last met, we've been working with the Department of Transportation to mitigate the impact of vehicles coming to our site. Our new solution, shown here, includes a covered porte cochere within our property on 41st Street at the major hotel and casino entrances. This allows for drop-off by cars, shuttles, and for-hire vehicles off of 41st Street so as not to impede the flow of traffic. Vehicles will exit the porte cochere and our property and head back onto West 41st Street, keeping vehicles off neighborhood streets. We believe this is an improved solution. Next slide. The entire block front of 11th Avenue will house the community art gallery that Dino mentioned. It is a 42-foot high, multifunctional space designed with flexibility for art, educational use, and varied community activities and events. The 3 facades of the space will have fully transparent glass that allows for pedestrians and even passengers in passing cars to enjoy the changing art exhibits of local and emerging artists. Within this space, there will also be a food and beverage outlet and the ability for retail related to exhibits and events. In our last CAC meeting, Quentin, you asked about incorporating retail into the 11th Avenue facade. We did review this option, but we believe that the 24/7 activity of the gallery achieves the same goals of activation, vitality, and security. However, we're happy to discuss this with you further. At the suggestion of Nabila and the CAC, we added a second entrance and primary entrance to the community gallery on 41st Street and 11th Avenue, which is the closest point adjacent to the local residential neighborhood. Thank you for this great idea, and we show it here for the first time. The entrance is well lit, protected from the element, and faces onto an open plaza that's welcoming, provides easy access to the public, and provides optimum visibility and security to the gallery entrance. Next slide, please. The original entrance to the building from 40th Street will be kept to provide efficient user circulation and vertical access through the building. 2 glass elevators allow for access to the food hall and other public activities in the building without having to go through the casino. Once inside the building, differentiated elevators, escalators, and experiential open stairways provide vertical access to the hotel, casino, the food hall, conference, and event venues. We've created horizontal and vertical circulation that will have clarity and allow for orderly and inspiring access to all of the uses within the building. I'd like to thank the CAC for your comments and recommendations, and we look forward to further collaboration. Now, I'm pleased to introduce Connor Lacefield, the Avenir's environmental consultant.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Connor Lacefield, and I'm a vice president at AKRF. I'm serving as project manager for the preparation of the EIS for the applicant team. In the next few slides, I'm going to provide a brief overview of the contents of the draft EIS for the Avenir. As Mr. Williams mentioned, a draft EIS for the Avenir has been prepared and is available for review at the website listed on the screen. The draft EIS describes the Avenir project and assesses its potential for environmental impacts. As required by SECRA, the draft EIS also identifies practicable mitigation measures to eliminate or reduce the identified significant adverse impacts and considers alternatives to the proposed action. The draft EIS assesses the potential impacts of the Avenir project using an analytical framework that has 3 key components. The first is the analysis year. This is the future year when the project would be complete and operational, and when the effects of the project would occur. For the Avenir project, the analysis year is 2031. The second element is the future with action condition. This represents the future conditions if the project is approved and constructed. In this condition, the proposed gaming facility and hotel would be approved and constructed on the project site. The third element is the future no action condition. This represents the future conditions if the project is not approved by the Gaming Commission. The incremental difference between the with action condition and the no action condition serves as the basis for the impact analyses presented in the draft EIS. As Mr. Williams mentioned earlier, the draft EIS assesses the Avenir's potential environmental impacts across a wide range of analysis areas listed on this slide. The analyses have been conducted using the guidance of the city's Environmental Quality Review Technical Manual. The draft EIS identifies significant adverse impacts in 3 technical areas: open space, transportation, and construction, shown in bold font on this slide. In the other 19 technical areas, the ones that are not bolded on this slide, the Avenir would not result in significant adverse impacts. Now I would like to speak a bit about historic and cultural resources as a technical area that may be of particular interest to some viewers, and then I will speak to the technical areas with impacts and the potential mitigation measures. The draft EIS analysis of historic and cultural resources considers both archaeological resources and archaeological resources are physical remains that may provide an understanding of past historical periods. And architectural resources are historically important buildings, structures, objects, sites, or districts. The project site was previously determined to have no potential archaeological sensitivity, so the Avenir project would not have any impact on archaeological resources. With respect to architectural resources, there are no architectural resources on the project site itself, which is cleared, but there are 3 resources within 400 feet, listed on this slide and identified on the map. The Avenir project would not result in adverse contextual or visual impacts to any of these resources. 2 resources are within 90 feet of the project site, so the applicant would implement a construction protection plan to avoid inadvertent adverse construction-related impacts to these resources. The New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation reviewed the draft DEIS historic resources analysis and concurred with the conclusion that the Avenir would not result in significant adverse impacts to historic resources. Now I'd like to speak about the technical areas where significant adverse impacts were identified and the potential mitigation measures. As required by SECRA, the draft DEIS identifies practicable mitigation measures to eliminate or reduce the identified significant adverse impacts. However, not all impacts can be fully mitigated. This slide presents a summary of the potential mitigation measures put forward in the draft DEIS, and I will discuss each in more detail on the following slides. As described in the draft DEIS, the Avenir project could result in a significant adverse open space impact due to the introduction of new visitors and workers at the project. Potential mitigation measures under consideration include the creation of additional open space on or near the project site, or the provision of funding for improvements to open spaces in or near the study area. The DEIS identifies McCaffrey Playground and Hudson River Park Pier 76 as open spaces that could potentially receive funding for improvements. The image on the right is an aerial photo of McCaffrey Playground, located on 43rd Street near 9th Avenue. These measures will be explored further between the draft EIS and the final EIS. With the implementation of one or more of these measures, the impact would be partially mitigated. The draft EIS includes a transportation assessment that evaluates conditions at 22 intersections during 6 time periods. This analysis found that six intersections would experience significant adverse impacts during 1 or more time periods. The study also identifies mitigation measures at each of these intersections to address the increased congestion. These measures include signal timing changes and the reconfiguration of an intersection approach, which are typical traffic engineering improvements that can improve traffic flow. With these improvements, there would only be 2 intersections where the impacts could not be fully mitigated, shown with orange circles on this map. And even at these intersections, the increase in delay would be small, only 15 to 20 seconds. In addition to the mitigation measures, the Avenir would also implement a free shuttle service that would connect the Avenir with key transit hubs in Midtown. The potential shuttle routes are shown in the bottom map on the right. The shuttle service would promote transit use and help reduce the number of vehicle trips coming to the site. Additionally, because the Avenir would be the first gaming facility in Manhattan, it would conduct a actual project-generated demand and background conditions once the Avenir is operational, and would assess how to optimize the identified mitigation strategies as appropriate and practicable to address traffic issues at that time. Finally, the DEIS identifies potential impacts to pedestrian elements near the site and construction period traffic impacts. These impacts could be partially mitigated by implementing signal timing adjustments and reconfiguring an intersection approach to improve conditions. The shuttle service I mentioned earlier could also help address the pedestrian impacts by shifting some pedestrian trips to the shuttle service rather than sidewalks and crosswalks in the area. That concludes my presentation on the draft DEIS. We invite you to review the full document, which is available on the Gaming Commission's website for more information. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing your comments on the draft DEIS. I'll now hand it back to Robert Williams. Robert, you're
Robert,
muted.
you're gonna want to unmute.
Yeah, that would help, wouldn't it? Well, actually, most people tell me to stay muted, so I appreciate the reminder. Thank you, Mr. Fusco, Ms. Ruddy, and Mr. Lacefield. As a reminder, tonight's session is intended to provide an opportunity for interested groups, technical specialists, community representatives, and the public to provide input on the adequacy of the draft environmental impact statement, including, for example, substantive or significant environmental issues raised, measures to mitigate potential and significant impacts, and alternatives. As I previously mentioned, all speakers should identify the specific aspect or aspects of the draft environmental impact statement that they wish to address. Besides providing comments tonight, comments will be accepted by electronic mail and traditional mail to the Gaming Commission. Both of our addresses, our email address and our mailing address, are listed on the slide that you see in front of you, and they're also replicated on the Commission's website. Comments will be accepted through 5 p.m. on September 5th, 2025. Before we start with part 2, I want to mention that elected officials and government agencies are not limited to 3 minutes. When it is your turn to speak, your name will be called, or the last 4 digits of your number will be read, and we will grant you temporary microphone access. You'll be prompted to unmute. Remember to do so, unlike what I did, and you will be able to share your comment. If anyone experiences technical difficulties during their testimony, we will pause and move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting to occur in the background. We will call your name at a later time. We're now going to move on to the section related to government elected officials, government agencies, and community board chairs. I know at a previous, a little earlier today, I had asked and none had registered. Scott, is there anyone who is registered as a government elected official, government agency, or community board chair?
Not since the final list. So I think we're good to go with the public comments.
Thanks. As Scott said, we don't have anyone registered there, so we're going to move on to members of the public. A 3-minute countdown clock will run on the screen, and you'll be advised when 10 seconds are remaining and when time has expired. Lines will be muted for speakers who go past 3 minutes. As I previously mentioned, if you experience technical issues during your testimony, we will pause and move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting. We will return to you and call your name once you have rejoined. Mr. Traskis, will you please call the first speaker?
First up is Chris Rousseau. Chris Rousseau.
Yes. Hi. My name is Chris Rousseau. I'm a born and raised New Yorker from the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Thanks to everyone who's spoken and shared more about this environmental impact report. It's very clear that a lot of thought has gone into how this project will affect open space, traffic, and sustainability. But I just want to say more generally, as someone who spends a lot of time in and around the area where the Avenir site is right now, I'm just here to voice my support of Silverstein's efforts to build the Avenir. As you well know, the area right now, it's just a giant hole in the ground. And, I really think that that's a shame to see in New York City. Filling in that hole with a beautiful building would really bring connectivity and life into an area that right now, frankly, feels really disconnected. And I think that would be a really great thing. Additionally, with the massive Port Authority bus terminal project next door, I think that building something on the site would really increase security in the neighborhood, which is an issue that is especially important to me and my community. when I learned that Silverstein's proposed project would be more than just a gaming facility, but would also be a hotel, restaurants, art and community center, I was really impressed, and it motivated me to sign up for this hearing and speak in support of the project. I think that the Avenir would not just fill out the neighborhood and provide increased security for me and my neighbors, but also, serve as a place to really build up our community. And lastly, I just want to say that, clearly a lot of thought has gone into how this site can serve the neighborhood and serve New Yorkers. And I think this stems from Silverstein's commitment to New York more generally. I know Silverstein from the work that they've done in rebuilding the World Trade Center, and I think they're good people. They're New Yorkers, they build things for New Yorkers, and I would really trust Silverstein to bring the site to life. I think the Avenir would really bring connectivity back to a neighborhood that really, really deserves it. So thank you.
Scott?
Thank you. Next up is Beatrice Ortiz. Beatrice Ortiz.
Hello? Hello?
Yep, we can hear you. Go.
Can you hear
you're
me?
on.
Hi, I've been a member of the New York City community for almost 20 years. Every time when I moved here and I had to go to the Javits Center, I didn't feel kind of safe. I felt very uneasy. It was kind of dangerous. It didn't give me a good feeling, but now I can see the area has changed a lot. The neighborhood has gone through a very dramatic change in a very positive way. There are so many restaurants, cafes, high-rise buildings. It has changed in a very positive way. But unfortunately, there is still an underused empty lot space that doesn't match the rest of the area. So I think the Avenir is going to be a great project. I like a lot that it has a mixed use. It's a mixed use complex. I like how the building features a wavy sculpture facade. I think also the green roof, the green landscape that they are proposing is going to be very positive for the community. I personally love arts, and I think that their support and promotion for arts is amazing. From the distance, I saw the artists working on that fence, and I think they did a great job. I admire their commitment and their support for arts. So I personally think that the Avenir is going to be a very positive thing for the community and for the New York City people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Clayton Calvert. Clayton Calvert.
Okay, thank you. So yes, my name is Clayton Calvert. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. And so just being someone who's been in that neighborhood a lot on the West Side, I think this would transform the area and really just make it kind of a destination on New York's West Side. Presently, when you pass by there's really not much of note there. And I think once the new bus terminal goes in, this will really help kind of balance that out. Of course, also like factoring in how many jobs this is going to create in the short term, obviously all the construction jobs and that, but then in the long term, all the jobs that will come from that as well. So I think that's pretty positive. And, seeing some of the kind of responses that they've made to the community board requests and to kind of public comments, I think that's been reassuring, knowing that Silverstein is considering kind of all the feedback that they're getting. And, I think once again, too, they seem like they've got great partners here from the architects to the actual, Rush Gaming. It just seems like everyone's really, really, capable and competent and understands kind of how to transform an area with a project like this. Also, as an artist in New York, I'm someone who definitely would love to see even more arts initiatives. And I think that the way that they're kind of inviting artists in and working on programming like that is also very, very encouraging. And then lastly, I'll just say affordable housing is such an issue in the city, and kind of seeing the schematic of kind of the new places they're looking at converting into housing, and that's also something that I think really makes me feel good about this. So, for me, I think that this is a transformative project that'll leave a lasting positive impact on the neighborhood and also New York City.
All right, thank you. Next up is Luisa Colon. Luisa Colon.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Luisa Colon, which you already know. I was born and raised in Manhattan, and I'm going to be 50 in the fall, so I've seen the city evolve in ways that I never could have imagined. Still remember Times Square before it became family friendly, and now I actually bring my family there. Um, I think that Larry Silverstein's Avenir project would transform this section of the West Side for the better. I'm a mom. I gravitate toward neighborhoods where you can spend an entire day with your family, exploring, eating, seeing art, watching performances. And that's what the Avenir is going to be about, in addition to the casino. It's going to give families like mine a reason to head over, stay for hours, and share the city with family from out of town. It's going to be a destination for us. And I get that when people hear the word casino, their mind can go to different scenarios, but I've done my research and it's very clear that this casino is going to be regulated and carefully run, and it's a small component of the project. I'm really excited about all that the Avenir is going to offer. I mean, I just have to look at downtown Manhattan and what a great place it's become to live and work and shop and bring visitors. And that was Silverstein's doing. So I have zero doubt that Silverstein Properties is going to do the same amazing job with the Avenir. I love the idea of the Avenir supporting Broadway and local businesses through ticket programs and gift cards. And, that's not just like, I know when something is just development. This is not just development. It's a thoughtful investment in the culture and economy that define New York City. And that's where I want my family to grow up. It's really important to me. So I couldn't be more in favor, and I appreciate being heard here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Robert Marcucci. Robert Marcucci.
Yes, hi, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear
me?
you. Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Hi. I've spent my adult life in New York City. I support the Avenir for many reasons, both practical and cultural. For instance, the site is shovel-ready, and so it won't displace residents, which matters. Financially, it creates a dependable tax base that can fund city needs. Um, Locationally, I think it's perfect within walking distance of subways and other attractions, meaning it strengthens the existing grid rather than standing apart. I also want to stress my trust in Silverstein as a developer. After 9/11, I really wasn't sure how Ground Zero could be rebuilt respectfully. But I think what Silverstein achieved in the financial district is remarkable. It's a vibrant, bustling neighborhood that still honors the past. That gives me confidence they can do the same on the west side. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Spencer Lasky. Spencer Lasky.
Yes, hi, how are you? Thank you very much. Yeah, wow, a lot of very positive comments about it. I am probably gonna be along the same lines. First of all, I think the building itself and the renderings that I've seen are just beautiful, and they cap off the whole Hudson Yards development with something that is moving slightly to a warmer tone, and with the sculpted facade. I think it's going to be just beautiful. I've been around the neighborhood recently quite a bit, watching the artists paint the fences, and that certainly is looking beautiful. But I can't help but feel that it's definitely going to be a nice, welcomed element to what used to be, maybe going back to the 80s, a very maybe dangerous sort of part of town. The Javits Center was sort of isolated at that time. And, now with this opportunity to have something that's just north of it and with Hudson Yards, wow, it is. It's a complete experience from one end to the other. I like the idea that they're going to have a lot of union jobs. I am a 40-year union member. It's important to sustainable living, and it's really great that Silverstein hires union labor, and I'm very proud of that aspect. And I think that the jobs created there are needed. I think their studies and environmental impacts are good. And I do believe that the traffic will be able to flow properly. It's quite wide there, and there are opportunities for slight diversions and tweaks to make it work. It is a little intense as it enters into the Lincoln Tunnel, but geez, like they say, what else can go there? So I have to say that I'm definitely a fan of the opportunity for them to build this, the inclusiveness of the restaurants, the art gallery. I do look forward to it, and it would be really great if we could get the subway all the way over there too. So if this helps that happen, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, Anthony Ribando. Anthony Ribando. Anthony Ribando. Anthony Ribando. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Mike Marcucci. Mike Marcucci.
Hi there. Sorry about that. I was having a little trouble with my computer. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
We
Is this
can.
Anthony? Is this Anthony?
This
It's
is Anthony. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. It's just my computer is often incooperative at key moments. So I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to talk here today. Once again, my name is Anthony Ribando, and I'm a graphic designer, web designer, multimedia designer. I live on Long Island, but I do spend a lot of time in the city. I come in quite often to work with different customers at their locations. And I'm also a huge photography geek, and I've been shooting pictures. I was kind of born and raised in Queens and Brooklyn. And I got into photography many years ago when it was still film. And I've been shooting neighborhoods all around the city over the years because I've just been blown away by how much it's changed. If you look at so many areas around the city and even the surrounding areas of Brooklyn and Queens, it's pretty remarkable to see how they've evolved. And you can see some places are thriving, and others feel kind of stuck. And I'd have to say that the area around the Avenir has been one of those places that has always felt stuck to me. It's just a big hole in the ground. You could actually see, some of the rock outcroppings coming up through it. There's the skeleton of the old Mercedes dealership that's been gone for more than 10 years now. And it's just kind of a stark contrast to the surrounding areas. And when I first heard about the Avenir project, like many people, I was skeptical. But when I got more information about it, it just called out to me and said that this would be a great fit for that particular location. It's close to so much. It's very easy to reach by transit. But that stretch feels kind of empty. The Avenir could flip that script with a hotel. You'll have food, you'll have art, you'll have performances. It's going to become a destination to bring friends, enjoy a night out, and partake in all the different things that the Avenue will have to offer. And it's going to add improved safety, new housing, and maybe even a long-awaited subway stop, which I think everybody would appreciate. The fact that it's going to bring a lot of union jobs in there for both the construction and then to staff and maintain the building, I thought was a very great perk as well. And when I saw the building, the model and the computer renderings, it became evident to me anyway that this would be an ideal project for that particular space. And like I said, having photographed so many locations around the city, like down around the World Trade Center, watching that evolution, obviously post 9/11, has been remarkable. And I've gotten to see firsthand what a great job Silverstein does with not only building beautiful buildings, but managing them. They're all meticulously maintained, but they also try to take into consideration the neighborhoods that they're building in. And I think based on what I've seen, they did a really good job with that, regarding all the things that I mentioned earlier, the hotel, the food, the art, the performances. So I think it's going to have a lot of perks, and I really think it's a project that the city would benefit from. So thank you for your time, and I'll move it on.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mike Marcucci. Mike Marcucci.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak. I'm from New Jersey originally, but I've been living in New York. Next month it'll be 45 years, and I pretty much never looked back. I've been here a long time and just absolutely love it here. And I guess what's drawn me to the city is it's constantly changing. It's always reinventing itself. It never stays still. And that's why I'm truly excited about this Avenir project. I've seen the renderings. I have some background in construction. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it really represents the next chapter in this West Side development down here. I'm really happy about the planned community gallery and also the restaurants that are planned. It looks absolutely exquisite. And it'll really just be just a beautiful, beautiful spot for people on this side of the city to visit, to see shows, and stay in beautiful hotels and beautiful restaurants. So I'm just really, 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 really excited about it. And I'm happy that thousands of jobs are going to be created. I do have a background in construction, and I know that the quality and care that's gone into this project is second to none. So I just think it's a great project. It's not just a project. It's I guess it's just part of the tradition of Manhattan, always striving to be greater than before. And I look forward to seeing it built. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Alan Gomberg. Alan Gomberg.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay. So I'm a native New Yorker. I'm 67. I've lived in every borough except Staten Island during my life. I have lived in Hell's Kitchen since 1984. I've lived in my current apartment at 43rd Street and 10th Avenue since 1991. Unlike everyone else who's spoken so far, I have major concerns about this project still, in spite of the mitigation attempts that have been described, which I'm grateful for. So first, I want to say, huge problem for people who actually live here and who are not rich are noise and air pollution. And I am very concerned that both of those will increase due to increased traffic. Some people think that noise is a rich person's concern. I am very far from rich. And it is not just it. Many people do not understand the extremely negative effects documented effects that noise has on people's health, physical and mental health. So I remain highly concerned about increases in noise and, of course, air pollution. Two things that other people love that I think are not so great for this neighborhood. First are the bike lanes. I understand there are many good things about the bike lanes, but although I have read supposed experts saying that bike lanes do not increase congestion, that is nonsense. I live here. When the bike lanes were put in, congestion increased unbelievably. Congestion pricing helped, may not last, and as in London, the effects are already starting to disappear. You can tell. So street dining is also a huge problem in terms of creating noise in this neighborhood. The last thing I particularly want are more restaurants nearby with street dining where people scream till midnight during the week until 1 a.m. on the weekends, at least at the restaurants that actually close when they're supposed to. The last thing I want is more gentrification, more noise and air pollution, etc. If this project goes through, I see I have very little time left. One thing that I would appreciate that is not part of it as of now is a senior center. That would be a great addition The closest one is at 49th and Broadway. Many seniors live in this area. A senior center with an affordable gym and other things for seniors would be a good addition if this project goes through. Thank you very much. My time is done.
And Mr. Gomberg, if you have any other additional comments, please consider sending them to the commission by either electronic mail or by letter. Scott?
Okay, next up, we have Charles Gibbs. Charles Gibbs.
Hey, how are you? Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Oh, okay. I think the Avenir project is, very relevant for the simple fact that it's gonna help to put 2,000 homes, affordable homes, into play. Whereas, we are in a city where there's a housing shortage and there's a bunch of apartments that are wide open, but yet to still be occupied. So that's, what I think the Avenir project, can do for the community. So I don't have anything else to say.
Well, thank you for your comment.
Yeah, thank you. So that's the last pre-registered speaker that is signed into the meeting. So I leave it to you, Mr. Williams.
Is there anyone on right now who would like to present any comments? If you do, please use the raised hand indicator or *9 on your telephone. Why don't we give a minute here to see whether or not anyone so indicates immediately? If not, it's
we do
6
have
o'clock.
one.
Oh, we do?
We do have
Excellent.
one. Yep.
Please call them, Scott.
Yep. Where'd it go? Hold, please.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Rebecca Shalamoff. Rebecca Shalamoff.
Yes. Yes, it's Rebecca Shalamoff. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay. I'd like to read a prepared statement, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Hello, my name is Joe Woolhead. I have lived in New York for over 30 years and have worked as a photographer principally at the World Trade Center for the last 20 years. During that time, I've come to know Larry Silverstein as one of the last of the great gentlemen of New York, and also through his work as a developer of large buildings, both corporate and residential. Larry is all about family and in the wider sense about community. And New York, as we all know, is made up of many communities that only thrive together when the broader civil society needs are being met to sustain the various peoples within those communities. Larry is most cognizant of this vital concern. Immediately after the attacks of 9/11, Larry understood that a big gaping hole in the ground was not going to bring community back to the heart of Manhattan unless we filled in the hole with better and more secure buildings and attendant infrastructure so the communal heartbeat could return to the downtown streets. After many years of rebuilding, Larry has been proven right all along. Now downtown Manhattan is thriving with fresh influxes of businesses and tourists daily. And with a great persistence of vision, Larry has been one of the key principles revitalizing the downtown world. Now with this new project, the Avenir, Larry and the family of Silverstein Properties hope to make the same impact on Midtown West that they had in downtown Manhattan. In my opinion, Larry is the right man for the job, and Silverstein Properties is the right company to make this community and this casino thrive. The most important concern of mine is the job creation from this development, especially the union jobs for the construction phase of the Avenir. Wherever I have worked, I have always heard from the workers about the importance of well-paying union jobs to help lift them up and have a chance at the American dream. of owning a home and starting a family. Securing this dream can only happen if the city stays union strong and improves the lot of trades workers with intensive and sustainable economic development, both from city, state government, and private enterprise. Larry Silverstein is a strong advocate for tradespeople and has always had their backs. Larry will commit to building the Avenir with a strong union presence from foundations to topping out. Silverstein Properties, along with their partners, have also committed to having 5,000 permanent jobs once the Avenir is up and running. I believe the Avenir would be best suited to this location in Midtown West because it is ready for foundation work to begin. Unlike the other casino bids, this is vitally important as construction can begin immediately. Therefore, building the complex will take less time to complete. Thus, the sooner it opens, the more revenue the city can take in, and you can bet on that.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank
We
you.
would appreciate if you consider sending them in the written form to the email address online right there or by mail. That will help with the record. Scott, is there anyone else who has raised their hand or has indicated that they wanted to speak by using *9?
No, sir. That's the final one at this moment.
Okay. I think at this point, we're going to take a break until 6:30. We'll come back at that point, which is approximately 23 minutes from now. Let's give an opportunity for individuals to register. You can register if you'd like, or to just simply get on through the video or through dial-in and indicate an interest in providing some testimony through the raise hand function or through the *9 function. It's still not too late to register, and you can certainly do that as well. We will return at 6:30. Thank you very much. Okay, it's 6:30. Mr. Traskis, are you available?
Yes, sir. No more new registrants.
Okay, we'll give it another minute here. If anyone is has logged on recently and wishes to speak, please utilize the raise hand function or your *9 if you have dialed in and you are listening. At present, we have no one registered to provide testimony. So if you are so interested or inclined, you can move straight up to the top of the list. Either register or utilize the raise hand function on Zoom or *9 if you have dialed in by telephone. We'll give it another minute or so and
we do have
see
a
if
couple,
anyone.
Rob.
Excellent.
All right. First up is Parker Calvert. Parker Calvert.
Hi, this is Parker speaking. I actually had registered, so I just wanted to make sure I got a chance in. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I was born and raised on the Upper West Side. I've spent quite a lot of time in that general area in Midtown on the West Side bike path, biking down 11th. So I'm quite familiar with the space. And I think, as I look at this space and as I think about a project like this, I think that it's very important to think of the, overall benefit to the city. And while I hear someone like Adam's comments earlier, I think I wanted to just kind of touch on some of those because for me, I've lived next to a building that was both demolished and constructed. And I think that having lived next to it, I'm sensitive to it. But at the same time, it was something that was very malleable for me and I was able to work through it. And so when I look at what Silverstein's plan is to work on noise abatement and to make sure that they're considerate of the community, I think when you look at the bigger picture, at the whole site and the whole project and the life that it would bring to a space that is otherwise relatively lifeless, to have just an empty lot in the city, east of an area that's not very well utilized. North is vibrant neighborhood, south is a vibrant neighborhood, but where that lot is could really use some life. And I think that, ultimately the amount of affordable housing it would build, the jobs that would come are part of the bigger picture here. And to really touch on something else as well with the bike lanes and the addition of that, I think that that's just a net benefit to the city. So on the one hand, I understand the concerns of inconveniencing some citizens of the city, but when you think of the vast amount of people who would be helped by these creation of jobs, this creation of homes, this vibrance of bringing more restaurants and more art and culture and supporting things, I think that Silverstein is the only developer that could do this. And when you think about how they've addressed all of their projects to date, they've been very mindful of including the community and listening to the community and building something that takes the community's concerns in mind. And so I think that there's only so much you can do in a city to avoid noise or traffic. And at the end of the day, those are just parts of things that we stomach living in New York as New Yorkers. And so when you think about the growth of a city and the kind of growing pains, when you look at the other side of that and you get beautiful architecture and you get culture and you get a safer neighborhood and you get something else to bring as a destination, I think it would just be a super net positive. And so for me, again, biking by there regularly, seeing the site, knowing, what Silverstein is capable of and how they lead with inclusivity, diversity, inclusion, all of these types of traits, they're just the right people to do an amazing job at making this neighborhood even better and seeing towards the future, just making New York an even more robust and dynamic city.
Thank you very much for your comment. Scott, you said there were others that have also indicated?
Yep, one more. Sandy Nance. Sandy Nance.
Yes, here I am. I have a couple questions. I haven't heard you mention how tall the buildings are going to be. My understanding is that one of them, at least, is going to be 60 stories high, which will be higher than anything else in the neighborhood, including Silver Towers. Am I correct in that? The second thing I wanted to ask, people keep mentioning 2,000 units. I think the developer's 2,000 is the hotel units, not affordable housing units. Is the developer putting in affordable housing units in his plan? And third, Ms. Ruddy, I missed some of the car flow description and parking.
Ms. Nancy, you have anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Nancy, tonight's session is not meant to be a question and answer session. This is to obtain comment on the draft environmental impact statement that's been published.
Okay.
From a practical sense, I would suggest that you visit the Gaming Commission's website. If you see the link that is on the screen right now, that will provide you access to the environmental review materials. Also on that website are indications of what they have proposed in documents that are posted, and you'll probably be able to get several of your answers through that.
Well, part of the DEI.
Again, this is not a question and answer
Oh,
session,
okay.
ma'am.
Not even the 60-story statement.
No, that can be verified relative to materials that I just discussed.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone else?
Not as yet, sir.
Okay, I would appreciate that. We're going to take another break to allow individuals to register. As I said, there's still a capability of registering up until 7 o'clock tonight. Also, if you are listening, you can indicate your interest in providing testimony by utilizing the raise hand function or by clicking *9 if you have dialed in. Scott, Mr. Calvert had mentioned that he thought he had signed up. Would you do me the favor of it during this break of going through to make certain that individuals who were listed as signing up have in fact been called? Just to double check and make certain that everyone has an opportunity to otherwise provide the testimony they wish to provide. Other than that, I think we will wait until 7 o'clock straight up. We'll come back. Hopefully we'll have a few individuals that have registered or have stayed on and raised their hand or press *9. Scott will call any of the individuals or at least double check to make certain that all individuals who have registered have been called. And then we will proceed from there until we've exhausted those lists and individuals. So we will return at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much. It's 7 o'clock and we're back on the record. Mr. Traskus, has anyone registered or indicated an interest in providing testimony through raising the hand or indicating through *9?
No, sir.
Seeing how there are no remaining speakers and we have passed the end of tonight's scheduled time, the public comment portion of tonight's hearing has now concluded. As a final note, if anyone has had difficulties providing comment today, please submit written comments by using one of the methods on the slide that's on the screen right now. Comments can be emailed to kristen.buckley@gaming.ny.gov. That's KRISTEN.BUCKLEY@gaming.ny.gov, or mailed to the address listed on the screen. Our email address and mailing address are also found on the Commission's website. Just a reminder that comments must be received before 5:00 p.m. on September 5th. Tonight's hearing has been recorded and will be transcribed. Sandy Nance, if you're still listening to us, you will be able to identify the commentary that was provided by Ms. Ruddy on the transcription or the recording. The recording, as I mentioned, will be on our website and available for download when it becomes available. The time right now is 7:01, and this public comment hearing has now concluded. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.